Are you going to turn your video on?
Ladies and gentlemen, the show that you've been waiting for, the people and teachers you've wanted all along. That's right, it's time for Office Hours Fall Semester. Welcome your hosts, Andrew and Nick. Hey, everybody.
What is up? Is your video on, dude?
Welcome back to the show. My video's on for the stream, but not for you because we're trying to save the bandwidth. So
there
everyone
we
that's
go.
watching, instead of thoughts and prayers, send us bandwidth right now. We're having some
Bandwidth in gigawatts.
yeah, some internet issues in my area, as they're saying. So it's going to be a great show today. Welcome to Office Hours. It is the new season. We are here for the fall semester, and I can't believe it. I'm so excited.
It's season 2 already. We're like this show that has a season 2 after leaving for a while.
Right?
But we haven't even left.
Right? Completely restructured, completely new, and of course, with entirely new production. So exciting for this new branding to roll out. And we're so excited to join you on this new journey. Nick, do you want to talk a little bit about what's happening on this new show?
Man, so we are basically like a free online class right here on Adobe Live. We're going to be your favorite new elective, right? I mean, honestly, that's my goal.
It's true.
Think of us as like learning without the student loan. So we're going to put together a fun-filled semester of so many cool things. We're covering everything with our syllabus, and we're going to go over that in a little bit. But it's so exciting to be here and have all you guys here. We had such a great run with everything we've done in the past. It was just a no-brainer to kind of fine-tune this and get something really fun.
Yep,
I'm excited.
Yep. So to intro us, if you haven't been here and you're just joining us from some post that you've seen somewhere else in the world, my name is Andrew Hochradel. I run Hoch.co. I do branding and a little bit of everything. I call myself a creative for hire. So you'll see me a lot here on Adobe. I do the daily creative challenges for Illustrator, as well as another show called Design in the Dark, where we get to design with other creatives and almost create Mad Libs to practice visual communication. I taught for 7 years history of visual communication and history of photography, so you'll get a lot of those little tidbits from me, interesting stories and little applications from history. So I'm excited to be one of your teacher professors. Nick, you are in a similar boat, right?
Ooh, I know. Yes, I run Longo Designs here in Los Angeles. We do mostly branding for food and beverage and restaurant, breweries, things like that. And branding is kind of the thing that I not only love and do as a full-time job, but I also teach locally at Cal State Northridge. I'm sure we got a few of you in the house right now, based here in Los Angeles. Yeah, so I love it. It's just a great way to kind of do keep in line with all the new students and the fresh new creatives that are out there. Keeps me fresh as well, you know. And we're also relaunching a longtime podcast that we've been a part of for quite a long time called the DGDC. You can find it anywhere on Apple Podcast or on Spotify. And we're launching our very first new episode on Sunday, I believe. So yeah, a lot of good stuff, man.
Big things happening. So for those of you that are just joining us, let me know where in the world you're watching from. I absolutely love to know where everyone is. I know we have a lot of friends in India and in other countries around the world. There's always Brazil friends in here, always friends from Australia as well. So let us know where you're watching from. And we'll call those out as they come in. So let's talk a little bit about the structure of the class and explain what this Office Hours is. So it will be a new weekly class that is happening every week at 2:30 Pacific time right here on behance.net/live. We have a structure for you. We'll be going over the syllabus in just a second. We'll be building a community for you to huddle around, as well as having some homework and assignments for you to step up your game and hopefully finish the semester in December at a whole new level. And lots of things rolling in here. Brazil, Minneapolis, Nigeria, nice.
India. Wow.
Giratima, 3 a.m. My goodness.
Good for you. Wow.
Yes.
Trooper. We love that. Wait, could that be our first gold star And we're
Oh
gonna give
yeah, we'll
out?
give you a gold star. Yeah, Jiratima, you get a gold star. You get 20 points extra credit. You can just keep track of that. 20 points extra credits to Jiratima. So Nick,
Yes.
we're gonna hop over and I'm gonna run through the syllabus a little bit. If you want to pull that
Yeah,
up
let's
as
do it.
well,
We'll tell you
we
guys a
can
little
check
bit
that
about it.
out. Yep. So let's hop over here and pop into our syllabus. And yes, we have new screens again. Totally new production, and it's gonna be really really fun. Friends from Kenya,
Yeah.
Vancouver, nice. So let's hop
Look
in
at
and
that.
take a look at this syllabus. So overall, we want this class to be something that is for everyone. Even if you aren't a creative, even if you aren't a designer, there's something in this class that will be for you to learn, for you to grow. We're talking about copywriting, we're talking about presentation skills, and I have
Yeah.
to point it out, Nick.
Yeah.
My favorite class session of the entire semester that we have on the syllabus is October 30th. That's right. We are having an office hours spooktacular. Um,
Get ready.
Get ready. That is my favorite thing in the whole world, and so it is going to be a whole nother level of fun.
I I think we might have mentioned this, but when we went to look at the schedule and plan it, we didn't start on August 21st. No, 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 no. Andrew went right to the 30th and said, we're gonna build it entirely around Spooktacular.
I did. That was the first thing on our syllabus because we knew we wanted you guys to have that special show.
That was great.
So, Nick, do you want to walk through a
Yeah.
little bit of what is happening and what's coming up? And everybody, you can set
Yeah.
calendar reminders for these. This
Oh,
syllabus is
please
in a
do.
location that you can get. So I'll tell you about that right after we walk through.
Perfect. Yeah. So after today, which is our first day of school, and we're going to go over all this, our next episode is really unique. It's all about onboarding, and that's basically how to start a project or a client and set it up for a complete successful run. I think a lot of times people want to kind of go out there and maybe they might be a little bit afraid to kind of cold call or do whatever it takes to get them in. But it's that whole process of qualifying them and getting them in that we're going to break down in that show. That's going to be a fun one. I love talking client relations 100%.
Absolutely. And then after
Yeah.
that, we're moving into copywriting. So a little tidbit. Yes, I do design. I also was in PR in college, and so I've got a little background in copywriting. We're going to talk about writing good copy and how it can support your case studies, how it can support your papers, how it can support the reports that you're doing. Really, anything that you do can benefit from having good copy.
Yeah.
For even the branding for office hours, as you saw it, Nick did a lot of the visual design, and I did a lot of the copywriting for our promo. So having that good copy really helps to level up and help people understand how you're communicating visually.
Excellent. And up next, we're going to be doing something really kind of cool. We figured we're under this great umbrella of the Adobe world. Why not do a few application spotlights? And first up is going to be a little bit of XD. We're going to do some basics and some tactics to grow your knowledge in that program. I know I'm going to be a guinea pig in that because I'm learning it very, very new as well. That's the whole goal really with this kind of stuff, is to kind of put yourself out there, right? And try
Yep.
something different. We have a host of things to hit with everything that we have under this umbrella. Why not learn a lot more?
Exactly. XD is so much fun. I had no idea how to use it, and I needed to design a website for a client. So I literally tuned into the daily creative challenges, watched some of the work that Peter Del Tondo is doing, who is right on
Yeah.
before us, and basically learned enough to design a website. And I passed it off to a developer, and now it's is supposed to launch last night, but now it's launching next week. But it 100% is something that you can learn. You can start practicing as well.
Good.
Then September 25th, September 18th. There we go. We're doing a design sprint. So that'll be really fun. You'll be able to see Nick and I go back and forth, collaborate, and show what our process is to move
Yeah.
through a project. We're going to focus a lot on process and workflow and not necessarily just on design, but how we think. We want you to think creatively. And so, whatever problem you're trying to solve, we're going to try to teach you how to think. That's something that's really important, but also very difficult to learn.
Yeah. The next one is really cool too. I think this is more in you kind of come up with this one. Do you want to talk a little bit
This
about
is I will.
semiotics?
This is my
Yeah.
favorite thing in the history of the universe. So we are going to be talking about semiotics. So I taught design history, and semiotics is the basis and core of all visual communication. We're going to break down psychology. We're going to break down back to Egyptian hieroglyphics. I might bring like some stuff from my trip to Egypt. We might read some hieroglyphics. We'll go back into Phoenicia. We'll talk about letterpress. We're going to go through a whole bunch of things in that lecture, and that will be very, very lecture heavy to help us understand the power that we have as visual communicators.
Perfect. Right after that, we're going to get into our midterm look at that. We're already at the midterm.
Already
That's
at the
crazy.
midterm. I know, right?
We're going to check in and update you guys on what this final project's going to be. We're hoping everyone can build a fantastic case study by the end of this course.
Yep. And then we will be moving into confidence and imposter syndrome. There were a ton
Ooh.
of people in the chat as we've talked that were struggling with imposter syndrome. It's something that even Nick and I are like almost 6 months into this show, and we're like, this is going to be so terrible today. It's going to be awful. Like,
Every time,
why is
right?
anyone trusting us with this? And that's something that we deal with as well. So we're going to be talking about imposter syndrome and not necessarily how to avoid it, but maybe how to use it to your benefit.
Yeah.
So we'll be covering that as well. I know a lot of people were looking for that.
Excellent. So at this time, I think it's a good time to kind of start looking at other things beyond what we're doing in design and to get into your internships and resumes. We want to give you guys maybe just a few little challenges along the way to be like, is your resume tuned up and ready to go? Have you even started it? Where to begin? And then are you looking at internships? Right now might be a great time. Companies could really, really help use anybody in our field as an internship, if that's kind of like where you're looking at in your career. So we're going to have a lot of good tips and things on that, on how to get that jump started for sure.
Exactly. And the next week is actually going to be, I believe, right after Adobe Max. And that will be our pre-Halloween special called The Tear. See, I needed 2 Halloween
And
shows.
post.
Just, just
Yeah.
know that I needed 2 Halloween shows. The terror of the time you're wasting. It will be talking about maybe some of the new tools and some of the tips and tricks from the stuff that will be announced at Adobe Max for you to incorporate into your new workflows.
Perfect. And what better timing to have right up next, the office hour spectacular.
That's it. And we'll be talking on that episode about dealing with nightmare clients. We'll share some horror stories that we've had, as well as some successes that we've had from nightmare clients.
That is great. I mean, that was the perfect little tie-in. I got to admit, that was awesome.
It was
Very
great.
well done. Then we're going to get into lecture recap. We're going to look at kind of the best points from the 6 lecture series, kind of like just that recap of where we all are.
Absolutely. And then we wanted to do a little more audience participation. So we will be
Yeah.
having a pop quiz later on in the semester. We'll be bringing some of you onto the show and having you compete from things
What?
that we've talked about in the semester. So we'll have you compete on an actual game show, give away some fun prizes, and have a grand old time. So make sure you tune in for all of the episodes, get that information, take those notes, and hopefully you'll be considered to be on our pop quiz.
That's going to be so great. And then right after that, we're right around that Thanksgiving time. We wanted to give thanks to some of our creative inspirations. We're going to highlight some of those people that have inspired us and share with you kind of those real memorable moments that we got from them and how it kind of helped our careers.
Yep. And then we're taking a week off to eat until we pass out.
Yep.
And then once we recover from that, we'll be coming back. And this is moving into our final project, which we'll talk about in a second, is we're doing a lecture that is entitled Avoiding the All-Nighter. And usually that's the time, right? You're moving into the final and you're just like doing late night study groups. You're staying up all night. We're going to teach you how to not do that. We want to talk how that's unhealthy. It's not good for you to have that little margin in your life. And so hopefully you won't be working on your final that week. You will be able to rest because you will have been using proper time management moving up to that.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a great one in so many ways because like that's just one of those things to, like you said, it's not healthy to do and it's not something to brag about. It's like
Yep.
to me, when I've done that, that meant I probably just procrastinated a lot. So we're gonna give you a
Yes.
lot of good tips on that. We're gonna move right into our final exam at that point, and that is like a full review of all the submitted portfolios and the case studies that you guys have done throughout the process of fall semester. That's
Yep,
great.
and our very last class is happening a week before Christmas, December 18th. We will be doing a graduation. We will be recognizing some of you that have done an outstanding job. We'll be talking about the most improved. We'll be talking about the best portfolio, and we'll really be showcasing some of those people that have put in the extra effort, that have learned and really invested into office hours. So our hope is that you will invest into this course as we invest into you, and that we can all grow together, because that's really what it's about, rising the tide so all the ships rise with it.
Yep, we got a lot of agreeing there on the procrastination.
Yes,
That's just us by nature, I guess, right?
it's true. It very much is. All right, so Nick, let's move
Yes.
on. And again, everyone, mark your calendars. Friday, 2:30 p.m. And our final is again just going to be basically to get better than you are right now, to have whatever you have right now, whether it's a portfolio, whether it's your writing book, whether it's your lookbook for your,
Oh
fashion photo
yeah,
shoots, whatever it
it's a
is.
great idea.
The goal is to get better, to get somewhere. So take a note today. When we talk about onboarding, we'll talk about this a little bit next week as well. Take note of where you are right now, take inventory, and then we'll be moving on, hopefully through the semester, showing how you can grow, and at the end, show how you can grow. So that will be your homework for
Perfect.
today. We'll remind you at the end as well. Um, all right, moving on to where you can get involved. So the place that you can get involved is right here. Let me hit the button. There it is. Right here. It's actually under us this time. Right down here. And yes, my nails are painted the same color as my green screen, and so they turn whatever color I put them in front of. So it's a little special thing for you guys. So if you go to that link down there, bit.ly/Adobe Office Hours, all lowercase, it will send you to a Creative Cloud folder. And check this out. So our Creative Cloud folder is right here with Office Hours. This is a shared public folder, and there's a whole bunch of assets in here for you guys. You can go to the promo assets. You have all kinds of social media things if you're planning on taking the class. There are templates for you to make your own, as well as some of the ones that we've been using to promote on social media. So you can help us get the word out. Send this to your professors. Send this to your schools if you are in school to help us get the word out about Office
Yeah,
Hours. You also
fantastic.
can see each week there is a folder, and in these folders will be all the assets that you need. They will have all the presentations for that week. Everything that you would want from the show will be here in this shared Creative Cloud folder. And for today, I gave you all a very, very special something. We have our syllabus, so
Ooh.
you can review that, but I also have given a little bit of extra credit over here with some free fonts. So there is a free font in here called Templeton, made by me. It is, as I say, a typeface only a mother could love. So it's rough, rugged, and a little bit weird, but it is there for all of you to entice you into using this system and getting into our office hours. After the show, our presentation will go up there as well, so if you want to recap and take some notes.
Yeah.
Nick, do you want to talk a little
Yes.
bit about maybe the community that is coming up along with this as well?
Yeah, so we're working on putting a Discord channel together where we're going to have all of us kind of having one space to post, ask questions, and Andrew and I are going to get in there and review and do as much as we can each week to kind of cheer you guys along and give you some more encouragement.
Yep.
Should be a blast.
Yeah, so there will be a hub for you to post your homework, to get feedback, and really just turn into a community, almost like a class, right? Oh, it's like a school thing. Yeah, like
Ah,
that.
that makes sense.
So we'll be talking more about that next week. We're still getting it set up, and so we're very excited to get that rolling. More details next week. Next up, I want to talk about kind of what we want to go over today. Now, there's
Yeah.
always the lecture the first day, right? That's like you kind of like take roll and you go over stuff, and you're like, is the teacher going to keep talking? Is he going to let us go? We're gonna keep talking.
When's the
That's the
first
first day that we're
break?
having. Yeah, yeah. That's the first day that we're
Yeah.
having. We're gonna keep talking, and today we're gonna kind of give you an overview. And when we talk a lot about portfolios on this, and we're gonna look back over all the episodes of Office Hours in the past, if you've been following along with us. And today we're gonna go through very quickly the top 5 most important portfolio tips. So a quick recap if you're going into the semester, things to keep in mind, and just think about where your portfolio is now, where your work is now, where your book is now, and these are going to
Yeah.
be some tips to help you level that up. So Nick, would you like to start us off with our top 5 most important portfolio
Let's
tips?
do it. I
That is
think
such
this
a
is
good warm up, like a tongue twister. The
it
top
is,
5
right?
most important portfolio tips.
It has a little bit of a
Yep, I love
all
it.
right. We are glad to do this right now because obviously as you're building in the future for this, keep in mind like the last thing we want you to do is have to go backwards and find out tips and tricks and then have to rework things. Like knowing this stuff now means as you're building stuff throughout this semester of your class or even just your personal portfolio, these are those tips. So we could not agree more that our number one thing, and this is really in no chronological order, but I think too, this is kind of number one, the strongest of strongs case studies, right? Like having a case study that is truly robust, just the right kind of length, all the information we've been covering. And some of the stuff we wanted to break it down to was this: the portfolio should be like a book, right? With chapters for each project. And if you kind of take that road, you know you're going to evenly weigh out each one of your projects. They should be kind of in the same tone with the same approach, maybe even the same like slight wireframe or template that feels very similar. But if you build one, now you have the template to continue to build on. What's next in this one, Andrew?
Yeah. So, and chat, if you have any questions as we go through this, go ahead and drop those
Yeah,
questions in. We're
please
gonna have a
do.
little time at the end of today for Q&A. So drop questions. We'll take note of them. So yes,
Excellent.
the next big thing is to tell a story. That's where we are, right, Nick?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, cool. So telling a story, and that is, we talk about this a lot. It's holding your hand. It's taking me at the beginning and then walking me through. If you've seen those TikToks, this is what I always think of. Is there's these TikToks where this guy is just like, all right, hold on to my hand. All right, hold on my hand. Wait till we have to go. And that's
That's
like what
it.
I think of when I'm going through a case study, is like, I want to get on that page, I want you to hold my hand, and then I want to run and have you like guide me exactly where I'm going. So make sure you're telling a story and walking me through whatever you're trying to present.
Yes. And next up, stating the objective up front. We have probably, God, I can't even imagine how many we've either looked through and how many we've reviewed over the last few months, right? It's been
Yes.
a whirlwind. And one of the things that we all agree on is by giving the objective at the very beginning. And by that, we just mean, what was the goal of this project? What was the purpose of this particular project? And what can we expect out of it? Because for us too, it's hard to kind of, as a even as a employer or someone that's reviewing your portfolios, your work, to be hired in any way, shape, or form. I can't judge it unless we know what your goal was and what was the objective.
Yep.
So state that up front, find a clever, clean way to do it. Then we can look at it and say, well, if your objective here was to communicate an earthy, nutritious and plant-based food product, then we're going to look at it and be like, all right, let's see if they did that. So it's a check and balance. And I think this is so important. We saw a lot that didn't have it, even though it had really amazing work. Without this, it was really hard to kind of understand what we were looking at.
Absolutely. And so the next point is to show your process and behind the scenes. How I like to think
Mm-hmm.
about this is, you have to show that you're bad to prove that you're good. And so anytime you can, show your process of the rough sketches, of the ideas you explored that didn't work out. Show all of that so that people can see, oh man, they came to a great solution, but working through a process. I love the way that they think. I can see the way that they understand problems and move through them with their
Yes.
process. So
Yes.
continuing on, number two is to diversify your work. And this, again, is a broad idea for everyone outside of design, photography, everything. Jiratima, yes, this will be in the folder. Thank you, Nick.
Yeah.
So diversify your portfolio is, you want to add work that showcases how you can create for change. We talked about this. Nick, do you want to talk about this a little bit further?
Oh yeah. I mean, right now is the perfect opportunity to have something like this in your portfolio, showing that you know how to design with the right type choices, the right feel, the right color, the right copy, right? Going back to what you said earlier,
Yes.
how creative right now is at a complete crossroads, and what we are going to be doing over the next few months to the next few years is helping people either persuade them to something, educate them somewhere, give them something to learn. And design is, we all know when we see like a really great infographic, how well that communicates to us without even having to read sometimes. So making sure you've got something in your work that kind of reflects this is so important right now.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And next, add informative creative projects. To me, I just want to understand who you are. So either educate me on something you're passionate about, or help me understand you better, whether it's a
Yeah.
writing project that you want to personally write a little bit about yourself, whether it is, something that you are putting together a thesis for a botany. You want to make sure that I'm well informed, and that it isn't
Yeah.
just throwing information, that it really is creatively telling that story and informing me of what you want me to understand. I think that there's a big process, a big difference between information and understanding. And so focusing on helping someone understand is much more important than just throwing the information at them.
Totally. Next up, add impactful designs related to either movements, cause related, you name it, anything in the charitable world. Sometimes too, it's great to show that you aren't just being the salesman in something, in getting something out there and on the market or in people's hands or to buy or purchase. Sometimes it's all about, are you reflecting the ideas of a particular movement or a cause related company? So these are things too. I'm sure you've done this too in the past, reaching out to a charity or something and looking for someone that might need extra design work. And for us, I think it's great to have this under our belt. But two, we're helping somebody out maybe with reduced rates or something else like that. it shows a lot. And I think people are going to be looking for this more and more in the next year or two.
Yep. And
Mm-hmm.
Danielle, thank you for this info working on reworking my portfolio after just taking portfolio a semester ago. Nothing like this was presented. Had to figure this out on my own. That's why this is your
Wow.
new favorite
That's why we're
elective. We are
here.
here for the entire semester, so make sure you tune in. So 3, show your process. This is what I said. Hold my hand through the entire thing. I want to see
Yeah.
each step. I want to see the rough. I want to see that you are human, that you make decisions, that you make mistakes, and you bounce back from those.
Yeah.
And then I want to see how you're stepping through so I can understand that. And then you want to show the buttoned up perfect version of the final project. We've looked at a couple examples of this. I remember, if you guys remember the Little Caesars packaging that we looked at, that's a
Yes.
great example that it shows the whole process all the way through. So you want to make sure that you're showing, yes, I'm human. Yes, I'm creating. Yes, I have a process. And yes, I'm really good. So like I
Yeah.
said, show that you're bad so you can prove that you're really good.
And make sure now it is the time while you're working on a project to make these documents. Do the pictures of them. Have a screenshot or an overhead shot of your workspace with all of your sketches and your thought process, or any kind of. I do post-its all over the wall, and I think that's a good thing to show that you didn't just go and design something really nice. You actually put some thought and strategy behind it. Great
Yep.
way to do it.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
moving into tip number 4, and that's self promo and branding. I'm terrible at this, Nick. So why don't you talk
Same.
about it?
Just throw it over to me now, right? I
Yeah,
love it. This is the best way to teach, man. I've never taught with another teacher, so we could just throw it back to each other.
it's
Right
true.
back. I love it. Self promo and branding is something I struggle with as well too. I think sometimes it could be as just as simple as making really good assets that you are putting either on the top header of your website, or things that you are putting on LinkedIn, or things you are putting on social media. But think of it as you're building something as your own dream client. So what is that piece that you're going to leave behind? I'm seeing people put together some really great stuff right now because they have extra time during this time to do really great promo items for either their solo business or their something that they make. It might be products that they do. Whatever you can do, show that person how creative you are for yourself. And of course, they're going to look at it and say, well, wow, I can't wait for you to do something that creative for me.
Yep, absolutely. And so I think with that, I think it's really important
Mm-hmm.
to help me understand who you are outside of a creative. So I want to know your
True.
perspective more so
Yeah.
than your aesthetic. So I think that there is some aesthetic in there, but I also want to be like, man, how do they think? And I think that that's usually really enticing to me.
Yeah, I would love to know too. Like, if this would be a great thing to ask Chat, that if you were to go and build something that was a self promo piece for you, and it has to revolve around a particular hobby or something that's outside of just design, what would you inject that little solo promo piece with? You
Yes.
know, what side thing do you do that's so impressive that you would throw it at? Is it woodworking? Is it something embroidered? Like, you know what I mean? There's so many other things we touch that would be so fun to drop into this.
Yep. And for
Mm-hmm.
context, it doesn't have to be something in design. So I have
No.
a background in performance and I like doing performance. And so a lot of my self promo, if you guys saw a little while ago, I did the Hawk 2020 campaign where I did like a performance art campaign that was literally like alternate reality. I hacked my accounts. We did like a whole thing for, 2 months, 3 months that has turned out into a lot more speaking opportunities for me, that it is about creating that brand around yourself and figuring out what is my
Yeah.
extra? What's my extra thing I can put into this to level it up so that it is uniquely me to get to a place where I can be uniquely me?
Well, that's
Uh,
so cool, dude. It doesn't have to be a deliverable that's like, falls into your hands. It could be exactly what you just said in digital format, in motion format, in
yep.
photography, or whatever it is. There you go.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
So moving on to the next one, and this is flex on scale. I always love the idea of like flexing on the haters. That like there's just this idea that it's not cockiness, it's just resolve that you know in your skill, that you're confident in your skill.
Yeah.
And for this, to me, flexing on scale is basically showing if you can make something good, make 100 of it good, and just say
Yes.
like, I'm not just good, I am consistently and constantly good.
Give them
Um,
everything.
exactly, and I mean, don't be cocky about it, but be so confident that like they can't think that you're cocky.
Exactly. Exactly.
um,
This is so, I wonder too, do you have anything in your repertoire, or it's something that's a case study of yours that you would feel fits into this to describe it a little bit more? that
Yeah,
they
so
get it?
I'm actually working on it right now, and I was supposed to launch the project yesterday, last night, but there were some fires in Northern California, so we ended up pushing it.
Yeah.
But I created a visual system for a church in Northern California that we were working on branding, and so instead of making them a logo, I built them a logo system, and instead of that logo system being limited, I turned that logo system into a font of marks to where every uppercase, lowercase, and number and symbol corresponds to another mark that is an identifier of their brand. I shipped
Ah,
those. I can rotate them 4 different ways and put them in 11 different color schemes. And so instead of just building one logo that I slap on everything, I've built them a system of probably tens of thousands of combinations. And it's created a cohesive, unique look that expands
perfect.
into this insane system. And so if you can figure out a way to maintain that and just grow it infinitely, that's always a great case study to have. So as I build that case study, there's going to be a page that just zooms through thousands of different variations of the logo.
Excellent. There you go. And I
So
think
fun.
in its abundance, that's the power that it has. So it's like, don't feel like you doing something so repetitively is a boring thing. No, it's just one element of that case study that is in this with this superpower, if you want to say,
Absolutely. Yes.
love it.
Yep. And so, Nick, do you want to talk a little bit about what is coming up next week, what we're going to be talking about?
Ooh, so next week on our syllabus is, I am going scrolling on that. That is our
Right?
onboarding, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So we'll
Ooh,
be taking all of those things we talked about, right? The high level top 5 things we want to see in your portfolio. We're going to pin that because we don't want to worry about those portfolios yet. If we don't have people to talk to, if we don't know how to bring clients on, if we don't know how to deal with contractors, how to have those conversations, we want to
yeah.
help you set up for success. So when you're ready with that portfolio, you can jump into those conversations very quickly.
Excellent. What are some of the pain points that any of our people in chat have had right now? If it's if finding them, introducing yourself, what is something that has made it so hard to start a project with either a new client or just even diving into this for the first time? What makes onboarding a client so difficult for you guys?
Exactly. And
Let
maybe
us know.
what's hard for you about starting? I know for me,
Yeah.
I'm a really bad procrastinator. I get intimidated by things that require multiple steps. And so
Yeah.
starting a personal project, working with a client, anything is very, very hard for me to get going. And I
Yeah.
have to work to map out, okay, there are all these steps. I'm so overwhelmed. What is the first thing I need to do? And then what is the next thing I need to do? And
Yeah.
so we'll be unpacking that more next week about one, how to, yes, onboard clients, but maybe how to even get to the point of onboarding clients. Because there is almost a self onboarding that needs to happen before you get there.
True.
And so we'll discuss a lot of that next week. We also will start having homework next week. And so
Ooh.
we'll note that what's happening next week, and it will be in our folder. Again, that folder is right down here, bit.ly/Adobe Office Hours, all lowercase. And Girotima says, showcasing work properly enough to find clients. Yes,
Mm.
showcasing is very hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, it's that confidence of having like are you even looking for someone or putting a cold call out like on LinkedIn to a brand that you really want to work with or a small company? It's confidence too. It starts right there. So
Absolutely.
we're going to have a lot to talk about with this one for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yes, Pallavi, is this in relation to freelancing? It's in relation to really anything. So it can be freelance design. It can be working in a group project. It could be working in
Hmm.
house and meeting with another team. It really is going to be broad concepts of how to start and bring in those conversations.
Yeah.
There was another problem that people saw thinking I'm going to do horrible. Yes, Moira, 100%.
Yeah.
Yes, that is that I always think that every project I go into, I assume that I'm not going to finish it because I'm going to get fired in the middle. That's
Yeah.
literally my mindset every single time I start something. I'm like, I'm not going to be good enough to do this. I'm going to get fired in the middle. So like, let's try until they say no.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's, you kind of just have to learn to push through.
Oh yeah, and I think the more you do it, just like with anything else, we're gonna teach you guys that feels very kind of rehearsed or something that you're putting yourself out there that might be a little bit uncomfortable. The more you do it, that second or third time, you're gonna just feel so comfortable in doing it because hopefully you'll have some success behind you, and then there's no more fear. You know?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
And so I have one more thing, actually a couple more things to talk about, and we're actually going to look at some examples of great portfolios.
Yes.
But I want to give a little shout out. So we're going to cut to, oh, where is this button? There it is. We're going to cut to a quick commercial and tell you a little bit about something that Adobe's doing. This show is sponsored by the Adobe Creative Residency Community Fund. That's right, everybody. The Adobe Creative Residency Community Fund is a great resource for you. Man, this commercial is way too much. It's it's a great resource for you to get involved, hopefully get some funding, and maybe even get into some exclusive things like, I don't know, some things that are coming down the future on some different platforms that you could get into a beta for, that maybe could help you with some of your like pen skills. So you can apply to be a part of the Creative Residency Fund. I've just finished my project that I was commissioned for, and it was to work in Illustrator on iPad to do some very fun kind of promotional campaign of how to use it, but I took a little twist on it. I did a project about mental health. So I created some pieces to talk about the mental health spectrum, and I'll be posting about those in a little while, but you can also get involved with this by going to this link that the mod is dropping in the chat somewhere, and you can apply for a project, and you can apply to get funding from $500 to $5,000, or you can apply for a commission to where Adobe hires you to work on a project. This is a great opportunity that if you have a project and you have an idea for something, apply for a grant and then tune into office hours and figure out how you can make that project a reality. It will be really, really great. If you want to make your final to apply for this, to come up with an idea, do it. It's absolutely insane and absolutely awesome process to work through. I loved it, loved it. So you guys need to get involved with that.
That's fantastic.
All right, enough of a commercial. Let's move over to a little bit of our fun portfolio reviews.
Yeah.
Portfolio reviews.
Soon we will have a little jingle.
Yeah, I just figured if we're switching screens and like the colors are changing, I want to make it like a little better. Oh no, hold on, I went to the wrong screen. Let's do portfolio reviews. Got it. There we go. Now we're back in Behance doing some portfolio reviews. All right, so again, part of office hours is we want to give you feedback on your work. We want to help you level up and even highlight some of the people that we love their work, show them that they are doing A+ in class, give them a little bit of extra credit by showing them to you guys and hopefully having you share with some of your friends and maybe look at them as an inspiration. So our first one that we are going to look at is our friend Ritesh. Ritesh, I don't know if you're in chat. We've looked at Ritesh a couple times. He is in Florence, Italy, studying design, and we've looked at his work a couple times just as an example of maybe what you would want in a portfolio. So Nick, do you want to maybe pick out one of these projects and walk through why it was so good?
Well, or do you want to pick a new one out?
Oh, let's pick a new one out.
Yeah, I love this, his brand identity, Callista Interiors. I believe it's like the fifth one down there.
All right, there it is. Got it.
There we go. Now, I just love that. Here's a great example of just showing me some fresh visual. It's not the whole thing. It's like a fantastic little sneak peek of what's next with his first image. Look at even the copper colored, like, paperclip. To me, it's those little things that just really kind of go through it. And he goes right into the project brief. That's our objective. Remember, we were talking about just a little while ago, having the objective up front. And then look at this next thing he does. He kind of has the whole little animation of how the logo is responsive, how it changes from one to the other to the other. Yep. And I think this is just fantastic.
And having these explanations, regardless of what you're doing, I like talking to copywriting because if you're a copywriter, writing good copy about why your copy is good, you should be able to do that, and you should be able to sell it so well because you can say, hey, here's this problem that I was trying to solve, and you can set yourself up for success. That you know what the strengths are, you know what the best part of this project is, that you're like, that's the problem that I was trying to solve. Exactly. Let's continue on and see if I've solved it, right? That you're almost teasing them into like proving that you are really good and that you have figured out a great way to solve this problem.
Yeah, perfect. He goes right into a old versus new, which I think we haven't seen that yet. We've seen before, after, but I like this idea of old versus new, particularly for a rebrand. And always remember, when you're doing a rebrand in any kind of case study, you do want to show the reason why it was rebranded. Then we can kind of look at that and kind of understand if that goal was achieved. So I really love that. Gets into beautiful color choices. Very simple when you think about what he's done with just almost like one color and three shades of it. But I love the combination of full screen, right to left pictures, and then nice white area with text, then that nice dusty shade of pink as a background. Then it goes back to white. There's a kind of an eye like feel here that kind of keeps you engaged. Do you
Yes.
agree?
Yes, I like that it was like the wine
Mm-hmm.
tasting, like how they're like it has a nice like mouth feel, but you were like it has a
Yes.
nice like eye feel.
Yeah.
I love that. And I actually got some great direction from a project manager that I worked with for a long time.
Yeah.
Her name's Bethany. She's awesome. And I would give her things that I designed, and I'd be like, okay, how does this make you feel? And she would always say, like, I feel like I can't breathe. Like, I just feel like I'm like suffocating in your design because I like to stack things from like corner to corner, like fill as much as I can in there because I want to like show you
Totally.
everything. And so she would always tell me, it feels like I can't breathe. And so now I live with a couple and I will ask them, hey, how does this make you feel? And to
Yeah.
me, that's really the gauge to see how my audience is going to receive it, right? That
Good.
whether you're writing, read it to them, say, hey, how does this make you feel? Are you excited? Figure out what the core emotions that you want to be, and then have them look at it and have them look at specific things. How does the layout
Exactly.
make you feel? How do these
Mm-hmm.
colors make you feel? How does this typeface
Fonts.
make you feel?
Yeah.
And you want it to have the correct emotions that you're trying to convey.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think a good test is that person that's not one in our field, not the client, just to understand if, imagine if they read word for word all of the words that were in your brief or in your objective. Now you know you've nailed it. You can go in so much more confident when you show maybe those first concepts to the client, right, or to
Yep.
your boss.
Yep, exactly. And so this is completely out of the zone, but again, it's something that we love to be out of the zone to try to figure out different ways to think about things, right? We're all about
Yeah.
inspiration, creativity here. So what I
Mm-hmm.
like to do, and this can maybe be, we'll do this as a homework assignment in the future. And what I like to do is I look at a brand and I try to figure out, it's like an improv exercise, who is this character, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
define all kinds of stupid little details to make it feel like it's a person, right? That we
Yeah.
look at it and it's like, okay, probably a female, probably maybe mid 30s. She has like a sun
Super
hat on,
professional.
super
Yeah.
fresh. Yeah, she's buttoned up. She has like a sun hat.
She loves Sam Pellegrino.
She does. Yes, she does. But she also like won't post about it on Instagram. She'll post like stuff making
Mm-hmm.
fun of influencers.
Yep.
When she's going out, instead of having tea, she'll for sure have an iced coffee. And so
Yep.
it's stuff like that that really develops what the feel and the vibe is, and maybe even who it's going to cater to and who your core audience can
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
And so creating that, let's make that homework. We'll plug that in. That your homework will be at some point in this semester to literally create almost a Facebook profile. Who is the profile of the person that you're trying to talk to? We'll get a
Yeah.
picture of them. We'll say what they like. We'll do their mood board. What is on their Pinterest? What does their home look like? All of those details really help me understand what the brand is. I always ask
Oh
someone,
yeah.
cool, where is this brand going to dinner on Saturday night?
Yeah.
And that helps
Yeah.
understand, okay, who is this catering to? What is it? And yes, this is Ritesh. Thank you, Sam, for dropping that link.
Yeah.
This
Thanks,
is our
Sam.
friend Ritesh. His work's
Yeah.
freaking
You
awesome.
know what's so great about that little kind of persona identification you just described is, let's say you're halfway through the process and you are struggling with filling a blank or something. You can always go back to that document for good stuff to bring on board to it, and you know it's going to be in line with everything. You're not just going to grab something from thin air because you're pressed for time. You're going to pull it from really good strategy, and that's super
Exactly.
important.
Yep.
Yep.
And even helping, especially with your copywriting. You
Mm-hmm.
don't have to think about copywriting if you have a good character in your head, because it literally is like them talking, right? So
Yes.
we look at this and we're like, man, we need a call to action to get people to like buy a product or something. Oh, we aren't going to be like, she wouldn't say, oh, could you pour me a glass of wine? Or like, hey, do you want to come over for like a spritzer or whatever? She would
Yes.
say something sassy like, ooh, let's whine about it. But like it has like, that's like spelled like wine, right? That it's that voice and creating that character helps with copy, helps with design, helps with colors. It really helps with everything to understand
Yeah.
the emotions and who the person is going to
Yeah.
be in your profile.
Exactly. 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 I
All
love
right.
that.
And then, so we're going to look at one more. We love doing reviews and giving you some advice to step up your
Yeah.
portfolios. So we're going to look at one more. And this advice is going to be for everybody. Instead of just gushing over Ritesh all day, we love your work. We wanted to show a great thing to aspire to, but we also want to take a look at some other work from our friend Derek and give some feedback of maybe where, Derek, you could go over
Yeah.
the office hours time. And I believe that you are an advertising student at University of Texas at Austin. So,
Perfect.
welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Uh,
First of all, I just love his little profile pic. He's just celebrating. It's like he's on some TED Talk stage,
yes.
like after his, like triumphant thing, and he's got an audience of thousands cheering him on.
Yep. And
I
Ritesh.
think
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
amazing. Oh, go
Yep.
ahead. Yeah.
Juratima, great. Yes, I do have an audience target profile that I made for that church client I've been talking about. We'll look at that when we talk about
Great.
some of, maybe we'll talk about it during onboarding.
Yeah.
And I'll show you who that person is, how many kids they have, what kind of dog they have, what shoes he likes to wear on his runs. All those little details help understand. So let's take a look
Perfect.
real quick, Nick, at Derek.
Yeah.
Which one do we want to look at?
You want to do Quarantech more
That's
than a
the one I was
watch?
looking at too.
Yeah.
Which, okay, this is completely side note. See, this is
Yeah.
what happens with the show. I talk too much and then I get in trouble.
Yeah. Oh.
I watched a movie this weekend called Host. It's great. It's about quarantine. It's a horror movie based in quarantine. You should watch it if you like horror movies.
Uh-oh.
That's my plug.
Okay.
Sorry. This reminded me of
Gotcha.
that. Back on track. Here we are talking about the actual thing we're doing right now on this show.
All right, making a note of it. I love it.
Yes.
All right, perfect. First slide, more than a watch, giving us a little insight of what it is. It tells you a little bit about this fitness smartwatch, why it's your new best friend. I kind of dig that because now I'm going to be looking at is this truly telling me it's my new best friend as we go through here? That's a
Yep.
strong statement, right?
Yep. And this is very much presenting the problem in a very, like, you're setting yourself up for success, but also high expectations, right? The
Yeah.
quarantine fitness smartwatch is your new best friend. I want to
Yes.
say prove it.
Yes.
Which, as we go through, you're going to have to figure out and be like, okay, cool, they have definitely proved it.
Yeah.
And what's the context of the submission hashtag at the bottom of the screen? That's a great question. We haven't talked about that yet. If you submit on social media using hashtag Adobe Office Hours on Twitter, Instagram, or Behance, it will submit your portfolio to us and we may review it and take a look at it on the show. So if you want to get feedback, if you want to get review, go ahead and post on any social media using hashtag Adobe Office Hours. Our team will scour the internet and find it, and hopefully we will get you on the show to review.
That would be perfect.
All right, so let's continue on and see if he makes this smartwatch our best friend.
Well, what do you think? This was probably, when was this done? I'm just going to look back and see. Did he have a date on this?
It has it on the bottom of the Behance project.
Oh,
So
let's
July
see.
21st. So it was literally a month ago today.
Oh, okay. So this is now. What do you think? Is this tuned into quarantine?
I think so. I'm into it.
Yeah. So I mean, like, I wonder too if quarantine doesn't have to be so boring. It says okay, and fitness doesn't have to cost a fortune. Perfect. So
Love that.
I wonder if it can have legs after. Like, does what do you think about that? Should the name go that specific? Because you want this to obviously live past. Let's
I think
when we
yes.
hopefully get through all this. So,
I think if you're selling it as an actual product, this would be something that someone would launch right now, even if it is just a splash in the pan thing that they're going to rebrand in,
might as well
in 1 month.
Yes.
We're just gonna will that into existence.
We all heard that.
I like it. I think it's a good idea. I always talk about being relevant to what's happening now, right? To capture the past, consider the present, create the future. I think he's actually done a really good job of that. That it is this tech vibe that's been happening. It's a new take on it, but also very considerate of what's happening now.
Okay, so maybe here's a good solution. At the very end, wouldn't it be great to maybe like show what the brand could evolve to and drop the Quarantech kind of name, and it could evolve to something else later down the road? Could be a little overlay.
Yeah, and I'm not mad about the name Quarantech because I feel like it could continue on. Like Quarantech, I feel like could be like, yeah, it's a fitness company or like a tech company.
Yeah, that's true.
So the thing that I'm looking at as I scroll through this, and the thing I'm trying to find out is how is this my best friend?
Yes.
And I don't see that. I don't see it in copy. I see a lot of call to actions about fitness, about moving, a lot of showcase of really good design. The design looks great, but if you're going to have that tagline, that's what I want to walk me through. right? Is how am I
Exactly.
going to understand that this watch is my new best friend by the end of this case study? And I don't think that it does that. Um,
Yeah.
so I would make sure that maybe you add some more copy in there. And even in your descriptions, just write a little description on this. You have great UI here, some really, really polished stuff, but you definitely want to have a little bit more copy. And it looks like you have some here, but I would just make that bigger, that it would be kind of breaks, that it would have a little more incorporated.
I love the comment. In these uncertain times, we're here for you. And that's
Yes.
exactly, might as well add that to the top of this, right?
Yes.
I did notice too, as we kind of scrolled through here, it does seem a bit repetitive of the same someone kneeling down to tie the shoe and or kneeling down in some way, and the watches with the
Yes.
fitness starts here. So I'm going to just ask for some more variety in how this is presented to me, maybe showing a little bit more of the journey of like maybe the startup of it, and then what does it do at the end of the day to kind of give you that feedback to say, okay, you've tackled the day. I think I noticed people have been showing a lot of good stuff over the last few weeks, when their watch tells them something really good, like you know you did it, champ, like things like that, like
Way to go, buddy.
just some good, re-encouragement and things like
Yep.
that. So if it's really going to be built to be something because of quarantine and to help you get through there, and I love this, it's every step of the way, show us that a little bit more, and that would be really, really good. Yeah.
Exactly. Yep. You hit it out of the park, slugger. If you need really bad copy, hit me up.
There you
We'll
go.
we'll make it happen.
Copywriter for hire.
Yes. So, Pallavi, you're asking, are these real brands? I don't think most of these are. I think most of these are student projects. But when we are presenting, we always say, don't say that it's a student project. Present it as if it's a real brand. I could see Quarantech being a real brand that he worked for sure.
Oh, sure.
So always present it as if it is a real brand, even if it's not.
Yes.
So that's all that we have time to look at for there, because I want to recap a little bit about what we are doing this semester. Nick, do you want to give us a quick overview again of where we're going in office hours fall semester?
Yes. So we're giving you guys a full course all the way through Christmas. It's going to be a weekly topic driven show, and we're going to have fantastic like insight and things for you guys to learn. Plus you will get homework. We're sharing this all online. We're going to have community based driven spots where you can go and share things, meet each other, hear from us as well. Again, we can't do this without your feedback, so you guys giving us along the way, we will adapt, we will change as per what you guys are looking for. So give
Yep.
us some insight is what we're doing.
Yeah, so as we wrap up these
Yeah.
last 4 minutes, kind of go through how you can get involved, what I want to see in chat is let us know topics that you'd like us to cover. If there is a time that you really want something, we're open to shifting the syllabus. The great thing is, this is such a good plug. Oh man, just feel this
Uh-oh.
transition. So if you guys want a different topic, it's really great to use Adobe Creative Cloud, because we have the syllabus hosted in Creative Cloud, and we can update it. It will update it for you so that you can continue to see it, so that you can continue to be involved very easily. Let us know what you want to learn. And with that, what I want to highlight is, of course, where is the button that I want? Right here. You can go to bit.ly/Adobe Office Hours, all lowercase right there, and it will take you over to our Creative Cloud folder. In that Creative Cloud folder, there are all kinds of awesome resources for you. There are some promotional assets for you to promote on your social channels, to send to your professors, any of that. And
Yeah.
of course, oh, whoa, that was weird. And
Oh.
as well as the syllabus that is in here, I will upload the presentation that we did today right after this stream, and a free font for some extra credit, one of my
Yeah.
fonts named Templeton. So check that out. How do we sign up, Excellence? There is no sign up. We will be launching a little bit of information tomorrow next week, about how to get involved with a community where we can all come together. But the real
Perfect.
call to action is to go to that bit.ly/Adobe Office Hours, and then tune in every Friday at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. Nick, what's happening at 2:30 Pacific time every Friday?
Office hours, baby.
That's
And hey,
it.
might as well get on your calendar right now and just mark that date. Give yourself a 15-minute reminder wherever you are. pop onto Behance Live, and there we are.
Yep, exactly. And if you look at the syllabus and there's one that you really want to tune into, you can set a reminder for that one. Tune in if you can on the other days and really look and see what is relevant to you, what you need help with, because we are trying to do that. We are very much just trying to give you all of the information that we have. A great one, engaging email correspondence with clients. I love that as a topic. Okay, Nick, this is a question for you.
Yeah,
as
go for it.
more of the answers come in, and again, keep them coming, chat.
Keep them coming, guys. Yeah.
Do you do the thing where you have the first sentence with an exclamation mark, and then 2 sentences with periods, and then another one with an exclamation mark?
Oh, yes.
Okay, I do that too. That I always am like, there's too many exclamation marks because I'm too excited about this, and so I have to like put some periods in, and then I'm like, no, but I'm excited about this sentence, and then I have to like space them out. So yes, we'll talk very much about talking with clients, about how many smiley faces you put in emails, and what that is like. I think that'd be
We
fun.
should also do, you know, what we should talk about a little bit too is the video format etiquette as well. We've been doing a lot of that. I have a video that's going to be used in I believe it's in the Career Center portion for Adobe Max coming up. Make sure you guys are all logged on and registered for Adobe Max for sure.
Yes.
That's all free, coming up soon. But this idea of, you know, we're doing so much more. I've noticed too, clients are going more defaulting to video calls as opposed to regular calls and emails because we're all home and we're all in front of a computer. So like, how are you doing that better? Are you making sure your appearance and your backgrounds and everything are appropriate for calls with professionals and people like that? So we should definitely add that into maybe one of ours.
Yes, absolutely. And yeah, it's a disaster back there. Absolutely love all these answers that are coming in. And someone asked, is it required for us to select a professional opportunity by the end of class? That is a great goal. So the goal of this class for your final is to show some progress. Take inventory of where you are now and then show some progress by the end of the file. So what I want you to do, and this will be your homework, we're going to wrap up the show right here, is your homework for this week is to take inventory of where you are. Take some screenshots, make a folder, and figure out, what does my portfolio look like? Where do I want to go maybe during this semester?
There you go.
And just take inventory of where you are as a designer right now. I know that I need to work on my portfolio. I haven't posted design work in a long time because I've been doing streaming. So I know I need to step up my game in posting design work, and that's what I'll be doing over the semester as well. So I have homework, you have homework, and we will see you all next week on Adobe Office Hours, same time, same place.
Thank you guys.
With the same people. Bye.
Yeah. See ya.